way back at the start of the season, West Ham were chasing Kyle Walker-Peters and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, that double pursuit turned into something of a triple pursuit because there was a bit of confusion because Mazraoui was thrown into the mix, if you remember. Now, I think the way it played out was that West Ham's interest in Mazraoui was really to spark Manchester United's interest in Mazraoui, ruffle their feathers so as we could get Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In West Ham terms and in sort of terms of us doing transfer business, it was one of the more successful things we've done. A little bit of transfer strategy, if you want. But just before that, when it was just the sort of dual shootout between Kyle Walker-Peters and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I wanted Kyle Walker-Peters. He seemed like the more attacking player. It just made a little bit more sense. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka had this reputation as being a good tackler. The best tackler, best one-on-one defender in the Premier League. That was what was said about Wan-Bissaka. But there was nothing really said about his attacking at all. And I think what I then saw under Lopetegui made me think, wow, okay, we've got a very, very different player here. I wasn't expecting the goals. Maybe waited years for Vladimir Suval to score, but I wasn't expecting the goals. I wasn't expecting really a load of assists, but that's what we got, and we're getting different types of assists from him. We're getting, crossed over from the left, from the right. We're getting little slide rule passes. I mean, the one that he played for Kudus, who then set Souček's goal up against Man United, and of course the assist that he got against. I think it was against Tottenham, wasn't it? The assist that he got for Jarrod Bowen. Of course, he got another assist against Manchester United in the following game for Jarrod Bowen. I wasn't expecting that stuff. Little cute little passes, cross, all different types of stuff. I guess I knew he was a decent ball carrier. I mean, he was never going to be totally crap, was he? Let's be honest. I mean, there was a point where Manchester United paid £50 million for him. But things didn't work out at Man United, and Man United are a basket case of a club anyway. My point is, we very much got more of a player than I thought we were going to get. And it didn't take long into the season and into even Lopetegui's reign where I thought, well, actually, I think we got the right one there. I was really pleased. And I like Kyle Walker-Peters. I think he's got good versatility. I think he's a good player. But I've got to say, whatever we paid for Wan-Bissaka, 17 million, whatever it was, we certainly have a player who looks far closer to a £50 million player than a £17 million player. He is definitely one of the better players in the Premier League, and I think rightfully so. Was certainly our Hammers Chat Player of the Year. But when Potter came in, Potter's first game in charge, if you remember, was against Aston Villa in the Cup. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka played on the right side of a back three, and Crescencio Somerville played at right wing back. And up until the point, if you remember, Nicholas Fulkrug got injured after 13 minutes, and then Crescencio Somerville only lasted until half-time, and we've not seen him since. But just going on the first half an hour against Aston Villa, I thought Somerville looked great. He had a very prominent role in West Ham's opening goal. He was he also then went and set either Mohamed Kudus or Fulkrug up. It looked like, in terms of right wing back, wow, he looks like a real player. And doing both things as well. He'd actually got back, he tracked back and made a really, really good sort of last-ditch tackle. So he was doing his defensive work as well. I thought Wan-Bissaka had looked good as the right-sided centre-back. And that's just where I thought things would play out. But it's funny how the twist of fate has changed things. And that injury to Somerville has really shown just how much more Wan-Bissaka has got to give. And not just on the right side, but on the left side as well. Now, we knew that he could play on the left side because you'd have to go back and see previous videos, but even when Lopetegui was here, there was a couple of times Lopetegui played him, Wan-Bissaka, at left back. And I remember saying to Gio on a couple of videos, it looks like Wan-Bissaka is not only the best right back, but the best left back at the club. It was always that he could play there, so I was very impressed. And I can't remember which game it was, but there was that game where Potter, he made a real error, didn't he? And he threw, it might have even been Brighton, I might have that wrong, but he threw Soufal on at left back, didn't he? And it just didn't work. Why is he doing it? He didn't repeat that mistake. Actually, the next time he was going to go and move someone over to left back, it was actually going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and that was against Manchester United. And he was brilliant. It was left wing back, but you know what I mean. He was magnificent in that game. Absolutely magnificent. Had a hand in both goals. Generally, got man of the match, was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. And he just looked at his versatility, and it made you realise, actually, it doesn't matter what West Ham do in terms of recruitment at fullback, because he can just cover off the other position. Now, I think ordinarily you'd probably look at it and think, well, hold on, if West Ham are going to let Aaron Cresswell go, I know he's not played at fullback for quite some time, but he's been a fullback throughout his career. If you're going to let Cresswell go, we're going to release Soufal, and then we're going to let Emerson go. We think, well, hold on a second, that only leaves us with one fullback. Now, of course, what you do is you've got Ollie Scarles there, who's going to play understudy, but you still think that's a little bit of a risky situation. But I'm hoping that Carl McCauley and Graham Potter have got their plans. But what it allows them to do is, we don't necessarily just have to go out and get a brilliant left back. Because if we, for whatever reason, we miss out on our first choice target, a left back, and actually the real outstanding candidate turns out to be a right back, then I just think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is so good. I know I'm saying right backs, I'm talking wing backs here. We'll change our formation. Wing backs, full backs. We're going to need that versatility, and he's certainly got it. But I don't see any problem at all if actually the one that is really gettable and the one that's outstanding is a right wing back. That's no problem. I just think we move Wan-Bissaka over to the left, and I don't think you're getting anything. You're not getting anything diminished from him. He's not like one of these players where sometimes their versatility and they get played out of position and it's to their detriment. Because and here's the real point: Aaron Wan-Bissaka is outstanding on the right side and outstanding on the left side. And that is a rare commodity. He is so good. And we're so lucky to have him. We got him in his peak years. We're really lucky that that he is the age he is, and that he has already... I don't see enough of him at Manchester United to say he's failed. But let's just say the perception is that he's been to a big club and he's failed. Because I tell you now, if he'd never been to Manchester United and he was playing at West Ham like he is now, and he was about to hit his 24th birthday rather than his 27th or whatever it might be, we wouldn't stand a chance of keeping him. We just wouldn't. There would be £50 million bids coming in for him. We've got him on really big wages, so it's not like a team other than an absolutely massive team can come and snatch him from us. There's not too many... I don't know how much Wan-Bissaka's being paid, but as I understand it, he is in our top 3 earners. He's well over £100,000 a week. There are not too many clubs who come and do that stuff, who pay those sort of wages. So I think we're quite well insulated from, having to sell him or being in a position whereby, someone can come and poach him or even tempt him away. And there's not too many. It was towards the end of the season when it was sort of revealed that the only 2 players who were totally safe from being sold were Wan-Bissaka and Jarrod Bowen. Now, Crescencio Somerville got added to that list, which you can understand, but he would feel like a new player. I don't even feel like we've got him at the moment. If he plays next season, that'd be absolutely great, but you can't sort of bank on it because it would appear that he's injury prone. That being said, the operation he's going to was had by Saka and by Antonio. A very, very successful operation. But they are 2 players in terms of Jarrod Bowen and Aaron Wan-Bissaka you can really hang your hat on. And particularly when you're looking at teams coming up from the Championship, you're going to need players that are that good to have that separation, from those bottom clubs. And there's not because of the way the season's been, there's not too much to get excited about until a number of players start signing next season. But I do think there's one thing we can really look forward to, and that is about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and that is because his levels of performance rarely dip. We do our player ratings every season over on Patreon, and Stephen very kindly collates the numbers. So we give every player a rating out of 10, and we do produce a video after every single match. Links in the description below if you want to go and give a patron a whirl. In fact, if you go and sign up on your 7-day trial, it's patreon.com/hammerschat. You can actually go back and retrospectively go and watch all the old videos. There's a whole archive of stuff there for you to, well, I was going to say enjoy, but if it's this season, wince over. And then everybody else that's a patron gives their player ratings as well. So we collate them from all our patrons, myself, Gio, and everybody that watches. Stephen then collates it, and we get our organic player of the year. But that also produces a load of data as well off the back of that. And sometimes players have pretty stinky games, right? As good as Thomas Souček is with his goal scoring, sometimes he can have some pretty poor games in terms of his passing. There's been games where he's only made 8 passes, for instance, and stuff like that. And when players do really badly or make, really bad mistakes, they tend to get very low marks. So, we've had players get 2s and 3s out of 10. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's never done that. And I'd need to get the data, and probably we'll get it before we get to before we get to the start of next season. We'll collate that data for you, and maybe we'll do a video on that. But in terms of consistency, his level is brilliant. He just seems to always be between a 6 out of 10. And he's got some 9s out of 10s, but, 6 out of 10 and 8 out of 10, that's just what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. He's Mr. Consistent. You can rely on him for next season. And I just think that is absolutely brilliant. When you're looking at it, if you're a manager like Graham Potter, and you can look at that and you can think, actually, it probably doesn't matter whether he plays at right wing back, left wing back, left back, even as a centre back in a back three, you know what you're going to get from him. I think West Ham are really, really lucky to have him, actually, because it could have been very, very different going back to the start of the transfer window. And I think us having him allows us massive flexibility going into the transfer window, where we don't really have to worry whether someone's a right back, left back, wing back. We can go and get the best player, rather than thinking we've got to get that one because he can only play on that side or that side of the pitch. And the main reason we can do that is we've already got a superstar player who can play pretty much any side.